Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are back in Florida. We are in Ocala, Florida, and I wanted to show you something today that's a little bit interesting on two different levels. One, this was a filming location of a movie called Follow That Dream with Elvis Presley. And one of the other interesting things about this location is that this is also where the exact spot where Tom Petty can kind of rewind and say at this point he wanted to become a rock star. So I'm going to tell you the story from the location where it happened. So let's go. This building might not look like much right now. In fact, it's really nothing right now. But back in the 60s, this was Commercial Bank and Trust. And you may remember that if you have seen the Elvis Presley movie Follow That Dream, because he filmed scenes out front here, and I will line up those shots. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the history and the story of Tom Petty meeting Elvis here that day. Because that one moment in Tom Petty's life is when he realized that I would like to really be a musician. He was so taken back by Elvis. He was so charismatic and unlike anything or anybody he had ever seen before. And he decided, this is what I want to do. Now, if you ever come and want to see this, this is Silver Springs Boulevard, and North 3rd goes into the alleyway, but it's actually at the corner of Osceola and Silver Springs. But it was just out here that Elvis Presley filmed a scene where he pulled up right along this sidewalk. And the what's now the Hilton Garden Inn. Let me pull this up here. I do have a photo that was taken pretty much from this, from up a little bit more, but right here, if you can see, Elvis on this sidewalk right here, with the bank sign and the hotel right there. But for that shot, Elvis pulled his car right up here and walked into the bank. This doesn't appear to have been anything in a while. But back when they filmed this movie, word quickly got out that Elvis was in town filming a movie. And while they were filming on this side of the street right here, the entire side of the street over on this side was lined with hundreds of people that had heard about Elvis being in town, and they just wanted to catch a glimpse of him. Now in the shots you could see the building that's now the Hilton Garden Inn, and you could also see the railroad crossing right here in the background of that shot. Now while all the residents and fans and gawkers and everything else were across the street right over here, lined up and down this street, on this side of the street is where the filming was actually taking place. And the camps were set up over here, and I was told that Elvis Presley's trailer was in the back parking lot behind this. Now this is where the story gets interesting. Now if you're a fan of Tom Petty, you'll probably know that he grew up in Gainesville. Gainesville's about 45 minutes north of where we're at right now. And his uncle was working in the film business. He had a film company up in Gainesville, and he was contracted to work on this film. And one day his aunt said to a young Tom Petty, said, you know, your uncle's working on this film. Do you want to come down and watch filming and maybe meet Elvis? And he was all up for it. At the time, he wasn't, music wasn't really on his radar, but that kind of changed. And it changed on that day. Now, he went to this location. His uncle gave him a personal introduction. He said he was around 10 or 11, he said in an interview. But he said that his uncle gave him a personal introduction, said, this is my nephew, and he shook his hand and kind of nodded at him. It wasn't a long interaction, but it was enough for him to realize that this is what I want to do. He was taken back by Elvis's presence, and he said that it was at that moment that he realized he wanted to become a rock star. Now, it's thought of that the meeting was probably facilitated back here where Elvis's trailer would have been, or along that back side, or it could have even been inside here. They did film scenes from Follow That Dream inside this bank, but it was at that moment that Tom Petty met him, and even though it was only for a few minutes, and even though Elvis probably wouldn't have remembered that, he made a lasting impression on Tom Petty. He said that when he got home, he traded his slingshot for a box of Elvis Presley records, decided he was going to make music his career, and he never looked back. And obviously it's probably a good thing he did, because he had hit after hit after hit, and he might have looked like the kind of guy, or seemed like the kind of guy that music came easy to, but he was a hard worker. Everyone that you talk to that has anything to do with Tom Petty or knew anything about him could tell you that he constantly worked. He worked nonstop. He was always writing. He was always recording. And he was basically, when you think of singers, songwriters, Tom Petty's probably one of the first names that you think of. Here's what you can see inside the building now. Building's obviously been sitting for a little bit of time now, but that's really all you can see.
I must have been 10 or 11 years old. My aunt came over and said, Elvis Presley is making a movie, and your uncle's working on the picture, and I thought maybe you'd like to go down one day and watch the filming, see Elvis. Elvis appeared like, a vision. He didn't look like anything I'd ever seen. And I'm just dumbstruck. And my uncle said, Elvis, this is my family, this is my nephew, da-da-da, and Elvis kind of, and moved on, I went home a changed man. When I hit the street the next day, I was trying to find some Elvis Presley records.
Well, this was kind of a short video, but I thought it was an interesting story because it kind of ties two legends together, and it kind of also explains how one of the biggest stars in rock and roll history got his start and exactly where that happened. So I thought that was kind of cool. We will go and visit some more locations, especially more Tom Petty locations in the Gainesville area in the future. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up on the channel. So if this is your first time here, be sure to like and subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care, everybody.